I was raised Catholic. I grew up in the Catholic Church. I was an altar boy. I went to CCD. I was confirmed within the Catholic Church, but nothing ever really made sense to me. I had a lot of these ideas and these thoughts running around in my head. I knew Jesus Christ lived, he was a person, but I didn't really know what he did for us. None of it really ever made sense. And then once I became an adult, I just completely drifted away from the church. Then as I went through life, I knew that there was just something that was missing, but I didn't know what it was. And finally my wife said, hey, why don't we start going to church? And I was against it because I didn't want to give up my Sundays. We had a very tight routine on Sundays. We would play tennis, we would go to the store. I didn't want to give that up, but through her persistence, she said, I have a friend that goes to HFC, let's go there. And the very first day we came to HFC, Pastor Ken Winters talked about that the next Sunday they were starting a series in Romans. And I've heard of Romans, but I didn't know anything about it, knew zero about it. And when Pastor Ken started preaching on Romans, it just was unbelievable to me. And something started stirring inside me. And my wife and I said, hey, let's become members. So we started the membership process, and we were questioned by two elders, Michael and Rob. And they asked me a very simple question. And that question was, how did you come to Christ? And I could not answer that question. I gave them a lot of, kind of clever little answers and, little anecdotes. And I'm sure they knew that this guy's sitting on a house of cards. And they continued to question me and question me and question me. And out of the 30-minute interview, I think 28 minutes of it was dedicated to me and 2 to my wife, which shows you something right there. But after the interview, my collar was drenched in sweat, and I came out of that room, and I know those guys looked at each other and said, he doesn't have true saving faith. But we're walking down the hall, and Michael says, hey, I have this Bible study every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock in Xenia. I'd love for you to come. And I did, and that changed my life forever. That and Pastor Ken preaching Romans changed my life forever, because I was sitting in church the day that Pastor Ken said, the Holy Spirit is inside you when every day you try to do good and be an ambassador of Christ, when you thirst for the gospel and want to obey the gospel, when you feel the burden on your heart from your sin, the Holy Spirit is inside you. And my mind blew at that moment. And everything changed for me then. I completely turned my back on my former life of sin and turned and faced Jesus Christ. And for the first time in my life, I finally understood what Jesus Christ did for us through his sinless, perfect life and his substitutionary death on the cross. I finally could understand that, and it was just so amazing for me. I just regret that my father, who passed away in 2018, never could see that. And he tried to talk to me throughout my life, but it was like talking to a plant. It didn't do any good. But after 54 and a half years, the final domino finally fell that God put in place before eternity that said, Rick, you're gonna find true saving faith at 54 and a half years old, and this is the final thing that's gonna do it for you. My name is Rick, and this is my transformation story.